Welcome. Today is going to be the first episode of the YouTube version of the Bangin' Bros podcast. Yeah, this will be a little bit better than Spotify. At least there's more people that I have friends with on YouTube, and we'll talk about little things here or there. If you have a topic that you want me to cover, just let me know. I can cover anything. But today we're going to talk about the proper enclosure. Why do you need the proper enclosure for your subwoofers? A lot of times there is a lot of wrongs and a lot of rights, and sometimes they can get muddled together. But hopefully, this video and this little stream here will incite you on why you should consider a much finer enclosure and put more money in your enclosure budget. An enclosure is so important to the actual subwoofers themselves. The enclosure can be. Let me turn the TV off so I don't get that much glare on my glasses. There we go. That's a little bit better. The enclosure can be so important to the health. What? The health of your subwoofers. I will use myself as an example. In my Suburban, I have the CT Sounds Strato 15s. And if it wasn't for the immaculate design from Houston Audio Lab, there is no way that I would be exceeding the RMS on a daily basis. We pull it out, we put it up hot, we put it up nasty. There is any time when I could take that Suburban out and the subwoofer should not have lasted this long. There is no way. But I told Houston Audio Lab what we were going to do and put a little beef on it. And so he developed the enclosure that it gives the subwoofers the right pressure on the inside, the right tuning frequency from what we're going to do with it. And you don't have the mechanical failures of the mechanical failures that you normally might run into. I've seen some that, you put a subwoofer into a box that's too small and you're choking it with the airspace. And so whenever it gets down to the nasty lows, it's not, you don't even hear it. It's wrong. It's weak, you know? But when you have the proper airspace, it really gives you the full range of frequency that you're looking for, hopefully. Another great example would be my underseat subwoofer box from Custom Audio by JD. In that one, I have 4 CT Sounds Meso 8s, and I have them on a 5000 Stetson, and they're each rated at 800. Now, I know that in my Suburban, we have the 215s and on 8Ks. I do not have the 8Ks turned up all the way because I've already gotten to the limit of where the subs start to mechanically fail. And I don't want to break past that limit because what good is 5 subwoofers in a 6 subwoofer box? We're missing one. And yes, of course, I could buy another one and, whatever. Recone. Yes, of course. And so to me, it's like if you can ride that perfect little line, then you can have something that you smack on a daily, sounds excellent, and you get peak performance out of your subwoofers. I've never clamped how much wattage that my 15s are getting, but they are 120% getting more, if not double, more than double their RMS rating. They are a 1250 watt RMS rated sub, and they're on a pair is on an 8000 watt Bravo bass. Now that's full bridge power. I'm aware of that. So I look at it more like a good 5K or a good like Korean 5K, but I can get down in some nasty lows below 20 hertz and the subwoofers aren't shooting dust caps through the ceiling. We're kind of getting close. But, we've had some of the surrounds come unglued and shit like that, but it's not I can still go out there and smack it if I wanted to. And I've had this for a long time. It ain't like I haven't. I've taken it to shows. I've taken it and given it demos. I made so much demo video for Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff. It's the longevity of how hard we've been smacking it is incredible for those CT Sounds Mesos. But I mean the CT Sounds Stratos. But I never give all the credit to the subwoofer itself. The credit goes to Houston Audio Lab. The credit goes to Mr. G Ramirez, who built the box using Houston Audio Lab designing blueprint. And so, make sure my mic is on. Green light means we good, baby. Green light means we good. So, like, that's why whenever you look at a $50 prefab 212 box off of Amazon, hey, it's made out of paper thin, MDF, press MDF. There's nothing wrong with that. If you have if you use, you have to utilize the materials correctly. If you are going to be doing something that's 10,000 watts and up, then you probably should go with something a little stiffer and lighter, or something big with the 615s. It'd be wise to go with something of the Russian Baltic birch, or something like that, something lighter, because I can't imagine how much just the box would weigh for my 615s if it wasn't made out of Baltic birch. But it's gorgeous stuff. Stains really easy, although I didn't care for too much of the stain. I kind of wanted it on the painted aspect because I wanted to roll with the interior of the truck. That's neither here or there. And I've had wood grain type of stuff in the past. That's neither here or there. But I've designed subwoofer boxes too. I've designed a lot. Lost track of how many I've designed and built in the past. But I came to the conclusion where that's not my strong suit, and I can only do it in a pinch, or if I'm just helping out a friend or things like that. I shouldn't charge anybody for my designs because my designs aren't that good. Never have we have some subwoofer failure because of a box I designed and all this other stuff. But the peak performance, that's not where I'm at. And that may be where my shoes are. That may be where your shoes are. And that's why I implore you to find a good box designer. And, I name drop Houston Audio Lab. I name drop Custom Audio by JD. You can get box designs off of downforsoundshop.com. Drew Jones is the United States' like #1 box designer. That's arguable. That's arguable. You can, but I do think that Baseaholic Designs are the measuring stick a lot of times. Now, I also looked past that because I wanted to work with Houston Audio Lab because they are from Texas and I am from Texas, and that makes it's an unfair advantage to anyone else who designs boxes, and I'm looking at boxes. I get that, but he's also a friend, so you do that. Custom Audio by JD, man, I haven't had one subwoofer mechanical failure yet, and I'm smacking them hard. I'm beating them up. Those little 8s are getting nasty, getting low, get low, get low. Love it, man. Love it. So the health of your subwoofer, and the performance of your subwoofer never just lie right on the subwoofer. It lies in the box, and it lies in the clean power that you can give that subwoofer. You don't want to be sending distorted clipping watts. It's fun to clip. If you ain't clipping, you tripping. Right, I got that. But it can't be 24/7 clip city, because then you're going to have your subwoofers for 2 weeks before it fries. And you fried a 5,000 watt subwoofer on 3,000 watts. I seen it. It happens. But when you have the proper this, and it costs to be the boss. So don't think that you're going to get some box design for, $5 and it's going to take you all the way to world finals. Don't think that's going to happen. It costs to be the boss. And like, even just on the Baseaholic Designs, he has a waiting list. Rightfully so, has a waiting list. Rightfully so. So that's the cost. A little bit of wait time, Houston Audio Lab, a little quicker on the draw. He doesn't have as many clients, and then that's cool too. Baseaholic does a lot of he does prefab boxes for Down for Sound. He does a lot more than just the normal one-on-one stuff. So also an unfair advantage on the wait time, but he still will take care of you. Hunter Martin, he's another great box designer. There's a lot of great box designers. I don't want to shade anyone, but there are a lot of wonderful box designers out there, and you may be a great box designer too. You may and not do it for the public. You may just do it for yourself. You may just do it for your teammates. You may just do it and that's where I'm at. I'm not great whatsoever, but I'm okay. And that's where I tell people if they want me to design something for them, like, first off, I am one of the lowest men on the totem pole, in my opinion. So please don't put me on a pedestal because I can't deliver what someone else could deliver. There's no way. There's no way. You have box designers that are proven beast, man. And Houston Audio Lab, for example, he's done like shit, almost like half a dozen boxes for us, and for guys that I'm around all the time, and man, consistent smack, bro, consistent smack, consistent health of the subwoofers in mind, consistent peak performance, consistent, and that's why I just keep going back to him. He's wonderful, great guy, always on social media as well. But yeah, your box can make one hell of a difference when it comes down to um, the overall performance of your substage. Your substage. When it comes to putting enclosures in speakers, you will get if you care about your door speakers, uh, and you care about mid bass, an enclosure helps some of these speakers perform in mid bass. But if you're all about just the vocals and you can get away with less of an enclosure. One of the tricks that we like to do on the door panels, if we're putting stuff on door panels, is the sound deadener on the back of the door panels. It helps with some of the resonance whenever you're playing certain frequencies through the speaker, and it gives you a much more wholesome sound. Highly recommend it. Don't care what sound deadener you use. We use Second Skin. It does wonders, but there are so many great sound deadeners out there that as long as you're using it, you're not losing. You know what I'm saying? You get better sound quality out of it. But back to the subwoofers is if you care so much, I mean, why would you want to buy a $500 set of 12s and put them in a $50 enclosure? That's not good, man. That's the same thing of why would you buy $500 in 12s and a $150 amplifier for it? That's not, that unless you get a good deal. You're buying it on marketplace and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? But it's you want good clean power, good clean RCA signal. Why would you want to do a $1,000 sub and box combo and then also have the amplifier not have, oh, and maybe the amplifier is good too, and not have the proper RCA signal to feed that amplifier so the amplifier can give cleaner, more powerful watts to and accurate to the subwoofer? You would want a good DSP. That's why DSPs come in handy so well. You want a DSP because let's just say that you are running it off of I don't want to pick on Boss Audio, but if you're running it off a Boss Audio radio and that's where you're getting your RCA signal without any DSP in line or any equalizer in line or nothing to help that RCA signal, you're not going to get peak performance out of the amplifier. You're not going to get peak performance. It's just not. You're going to get some performance because you've made up for it for having a great subwoofer box, a great amplifier, and a great this, but you'll be at a 75% ceiling. You want to unleash that last 25% of performance, then you have to give the proper RCA signal, clean, powerful, the accurate frequencies, the whole nine. You really want that. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself, right? I mean, hell, you're going in debt because you got a $2,000 subwoofer and a $1,000 box. You're going in debt. You might. I'm not picking on anybody. You might as well buy a $200-300 DSP, clean up that signal, get that amplifier humming and running, nice and smooth, and now that amplifier, no matter how cheap or expensive it is going to perform smoother, better, cleaner, etc. That goes for your door speakers as well. Why would you spend all this money in Neo speakers and Neo tweeters and you got a fantastic 4-channel, let's say you got a JP84, 454, you got a monster, man, and you just rely on the RCA signal of a cheap radio? That, yeah, it's not going to sound good there, mate. It's not going to sound that good, mate. So you add a DSP, and even the cheap ones, I mean, I've used the Stetson, the PRV, even the cheap ones, it's better than nothing. But highly recommend the best DSPs on the market right now. They're hot, they're fresh, they're new, fresh out the oven. The Easy 6.8 and the Easy 6.12 from Down for Sound. They're small, they're affordable, and they do their job fantastically. We use the Easy RCA 110, which all that is a powered distribution block that makes sure that your amplifiers get a smooth signal. It doesn't do as much as a DSP does, but even just so, then it helps. Some radios only have, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Some radios only have a some radios only have two RCA outputs. They're a little bit cheaper. Do you think those RCA outputs on a cheap radio are going to be putting out pristine RCA signal? No, sir. No, sir. But you run it through an Easy RCA 110 and you have that goes in there, things get cleaned up, and what you got spit out is 5 different sets of RCA so that you can run, well, 5 different sets of RCAs. So a 4-channel, you got it. Your subwoofer amp, you got it. Very easy. Very easy. And those aren't very expensive. Those are $70. I mean, that's not that bad at all. That's as much as the cheapest DSP on the market. I mean, hell, there are splitter boxes that are $100 just for the splitter box. This one does an extra job at splitting and cleaning your signal to where it is smooth. And I can attest, we've put 3 of them in systems now, and every single time we've done it, it sounded amazing. But so when it comes to it, it's really good to look at things from a bigger picture or a wider array of what you're doing, because it is simple. Like, it is simple. All we need is a wire kit, the subwoofer, the box, and the amp. That's all we need, man. Right. That is all you need. We can do it for under $200. Huh? You know? Huh? What? Nah, fam. I hate to say it, bro, but if you ain't, yeah, I hate to say it. I mean, it's just from my old lady. No big deal. You're right. Well, whatever. If you don't want to I want someone else to enjoy audio as clear or clearer than I get to enjoy it. So why would, but that's just me. But yeah, so your peak performance is it's the little things that accumulate. And back to the topic at hand was the proper enclosure makes the biggest difference. It really does. Whenever you can have 2 monster amazing subwoofers that from shining sea to shining sea is doing wonders across the audio community. Don't just think that you can drop the same exact subwoofers, cheaping out on a $50 box, and think that you're going to be mentioned in the top echelon of how those subwoofers are running. The subwoofers are probably going to run hot. The subwoofers are probably going to, if you don't have a properly built box with a good, with like solid, right? That's where you run into extra mechanical failures. I've seen plenty of folk who have snapped their subwoofer basket because the baffle was weak, the box flexed, and all this stuff. And now you have a very expensive repair on your hands because the basket broke. The basket broke. All you got there is a damn motor. You got to figure out everything over again. And, you done fucked your subwoofer. You done fucked it. You fucked it. All because I don't need no brace on the inside. I don't need no double baffle. Bull, you're running a 75-pound woofer. Not only do you need to double your baffle, you need to double the sides. Hell, you should be doubling the port up just so it doesn't have a snap break and shit like that. Damn. Just my 2 cents. Just my 2 cents. I'm sure a lot of you guys will agree with me that have come from where I'm come from. And another thing, you don't want to mix the different subwoofers in one enclosure. Every subwoofer, you don't want to mix, even if it was the same size, even if that's a 12 and that's a 12. You don't want to be mixing it because subwoofers have different mechanical properties. And when you put 2 unlike subwoofers in there, they're going to almost fight each other and you're going to have more mechanical failures, especially if they share the same airspace. If it is divided off all the way, kind of like 2 boxes slapped together, I get it. Okay. Still don't do it. But the craziest thing would be put a, and I just posted a video on Instagram too, so maybe this will backdoor into that. But I ran across a box that had a 15, a 12, and an 8. It was a RE 15, a kicker 12, and then a kicker 8. And the two kickers were not the same, not the same um, series or whatever. But it is super important for you to get a good enclosure, for you to be well rounded. It is very important for that. It is. It is much more important than you think. The port tuning frequency, it also makes a big difference. Just because you have this subwoofer box and it has this port area, this tuning frequency, this airspace, and you had, say, this subwoofer in it. You had a Sundown X series subwoofer in it, and then you just ditched it for a Def Bonce 12. You know what? It might sound louder. It might sound worse, but your box should be tuned for the equipment on the inside. That's what it should be. I would like to swap the 15s out in my truck. So it's not in my Suburban. So it's not that I can't do that, because you totally can. But I got to look at different subwoofer specs first to see if they match up to the Strato series at least a little bit, and see if they'll marry very well. Marry very well. They'll marry well with the enclosure. 8 times out of 10, they're going to marry well enough to where, okay, as long as the box is tuned, and I'm sorry, the box is built good and it's proven, then yeah, 8 times out of 10, you swap, you'll be okay. But there is that, 20%, 20 percentile that might, damn, you put the same exact power, all you do is a woofer swap, you could damage the subwoofer. And that's where, you're out of $500 or whatever it is that the subwoofer is, Well, yeah, some subwoofers are not bandpass friendly either. So don't think that, oh, we're going to keep the subwoofers and we're going to put them in a fourth order. Well, that subwoofer itself, the mechanics of it might be more suited for, say, a sixth order, or say a ported box. You have subwoofers that are made for infinite baffle, which all that means is there is no enclosure. It's flat. It's just the baffle. You put the subwoofer, and there are a lot of other things to it, but it's not an enclosure. There's no port. It is just a wall. So you wouldn't want to put a infinite baffle only subwoofer into a box that is not geared towards that, and then you have mechanical failures. There you go. And then, the way consumers are is they get very angry at the actual pieces when they make a mistake, when they oversee a mistake, and now they're mad at the amplifier or they're mad at the subwoofer. Motherfucker, man, you the dumbass. But nobody will tell you that because they want to be nice. The companies won't tell you that. They'll say, sir, you did this, ma'am. You did this. I tell you straight up, you dumbass. You done put a subwoofer that was made for this into a box that was made for this, and that's where you've made a mistake. There's been a lot of subwoofers that they're not sixth order friendly. They're only fourth order friendly, and you got to know that, because then you go put in a sixth order, and you're gonna have that subwoofer over flexing, not playing the notes correctly, being very sloppy, running very hot. That's another one, running hot, and then you got a slinky on the inside. You got a coal slinky on the inside. And then where you at, baby? Calling up old Q Power. Oh, man, I need that Q Power. I need that $75 15. No, you ain't doing that, silly. Those suck too, man. Q Power 15s, I don't care what kind of box you put those in. That's just sound like shit. They just sound like shit. On Instagram and on TikTok, I can't vape. But YouTube, I think I can. And if I can't, well, we're going to learn on this one. Damn, girl. Sometimes running those disposables, you're running like a disposable or a little salt nicotine device. The salt nicotine can get to you. I like to. I started vaping a long time ago. I'm old school like that, so I keep one around all the time because I like the way the normal nicotine feels. I come from smoking cigarettes. Quit that out. I don't smoke cigarettes no more. You can do whatever you want. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to tell you, but old school is a little bit safer for you than the salt nicotine. The salt nicotine is at such a high concentrate that it can't hurt you. But back to the thing. Yeah. So keep that in mind whenever you are putting together a new system, or when you're putting together, or you already have your system put together and you're wondering, how can I upgrade? Well, if you have a good box that's made for your subwoofer, that's where you'll be able to put double the power on it. That's where you'll be able to really send beautiful clean notes all throughout the cabin, and it's just gorgeous, man. It's then things start flexing and things start rattling, and well, it is what it is. But um, yeah, yeah. So anyway, I hope this was slightly insightful for you if you are interested in different enclosures and wondering why enclosures cost so darn much. Well, they're made out of some materials. Birch is very expensive now. When I was growing up, I could get that like half the price of what it is today, and even MDF was half the price it is today. If we do something that's a smaller enclosure for some 8s or for a single 12, MDF's cool. But then whenever you start getting into 415s and you start getting into bigger and bigger and bigger subwoofers like the DVX18 we got over there, it needs to be done in birch. A little bit lighter weight so you can pick it up if need be, but also stronger, stiffer, and more rigid for the lower notes so that you can really send all the power you want and you don't have to worry about the box failing on you. I've also had boxes fail on me so many times at car shows, and it was my fault. It was my fault. Uh, I thought I didn't need a brace there. I thought I didn't need a double baffle. That's where I learned. That's where I grew up. And now I tell people, all right, if you are so adamant on no double baffle, then it better be braced up to high heaven on the inside. And you got to account for that airspace on the inside. Another rule of thumb, I had someone ask me on a thing the other day of if you make your box a little bigger, it'll be more efficient. And where that does roll into play, it does. If you say I'm only going to run 2,000 watts and that is just it, and your subwoofer is 2,000 watts and that is just it, and okay, so you put your box a little bigger, but let's say you're going to be doing that 2,000 watt subwoofer on a 3,000 watt amplifier. The extra room inside the box will make it too efficient, and you have mechanical failures. You have it to where, wow, the sub is flexing a little too much. I've also been down that road. You got to go inside the box and you got to add up some stuff to kind of cut the airspace down, or if the port is tuned too low for that certain subwoofer, that subwoofer is going to be like, it's going to run hot, it's going to be beat up, it's going to be nasty, man. So the proper enclosure is so important. And if that's the only thing you take away from this little video, that the enclosure is more important than you think, that would be wonderful, man. So y'all be safe and y'all stay banging. I am Tony with Bangin' Bros, Anthony with Bangin' Bros, whatever you want to say. And we're working on things all around here. But just wanted to stop. If you were a fan of the Spotify podcast, I'm changing it up because I think people want to see me chit chat instead of just hearing me chit chat. And if you just want to hear me, there you go. That's on you, bro. I don't like to listen to my own self talk, but if you want to hear it, hey, man, all power to you, man. This episode was brought to you by the ProFab enclosures over at downforsoundshop.com. Those are designed by Drew Jones, and they are made in China, but they're made thick, they're made strong, they're made durable. We've used a couple, and they're awesome. Excellent for the price, keeps costs down if you're on a budget. The ProFab enclosures are hands down the best prefab enclosure that we have ever messed with in our group. So highly recommend that. Check out downforsoundshop.com and use coupon code Bangin' Bros every time you check out. Go check out the new subwoofers too. Amazing. Get the ProFab, get the subwoofer, get going, baby. Get you a JP33 and let's bang it out. Thank you guys for listening. Mwah. I love you guys so much.